make it look sanitized. There are going to be, casualties on the ground. There is going to be destruction on the ground, and these are going to be seen worldwide. These pictures, as in the case of Iran, these pictures seem like coming in from Tehran. We have seen earlier pictures coming in from Israel. We have seen people scurrying into bunkers. We have seen missiles flying thick and fast. The American Tomahawks and the Iranian missiles hitting back. The war widening and broadening into Bahrain and Qatar, and the counter interceptions. Some of those missiles falling into other territories like Iraq and Syria and Jordan. And this is just the beginning. First couple of hours, Niranjan. The last war between Israel and Iran was for 12 days. So you think this is going to go on for longer?
Yeah, this is Abhishek. Once again, I'm repeating these details because there's no label on that. So I'm just going to say that this is the attack by Iran on a naval base in Bahrain that was hosting U.S. naval forces. And U.S., according to some Middle East monitors, had withdrawn all vessels from its Iranian base following. I think they were prepared. They were planning this for quite some time. We'll just put a key on that. U.S.-Iranian strike on Bahrain naval base.
Yeah.
That is the Bahrain base.
These are pictures released by the Iranians.
Bahrain base. Yes.
All right. These are pictures released by the Iranians of their success.
Of their success,
their military, and if they have really succeeded in hitting the American naval base, that's something, Niranjan, because even if in Bahrain, this is the headquarters of the 5th Fleet of the United States Navy, and this must be heavily guarded, and yet if their missile, look at this, they are showing the missile coming in and going in and hitting the target. These are Iranian pictures, and if they are saying that in Bahrain they have been able to successfully hit an American target, that's something, even if not a naval asset, but just the base somewhere here and there outside. If they have successfully reached this distance, then obviously the Iranians have really built some muscle.
Yes, several missiles, not one or two, Abhishek, several missiles have hit Bahrain. You can hear the missiles. In fact, you can hear that sound of the missiles coming in. Sorry to be so descriptive, but you can hear that in the audio. Ladies and gentlemen, you can hear that.
Of course, Niranjan, it's war.
It's war. You can hear the missiles coming in. We are hearing that's the naval base. Let's go. Can we go full frame to those pictures?
And with nets.
Full frame to the pictures, because this is a picture coming in of Bahrain, of the naval base in Bahrain that was hit. Look at that. So that the text is on top is the Bahrain naval base. Audio. Videos coming in. Another video that has been captured right now. Look at that. Can we zoom into this, because is that a aircraft carrier we see? I don't know. Is that a vessel? I'm not so sure. If we can zoom into that, zoom in a bit more, zoom in a bit more, zoom in a bit more. That's the Bahrain naval base. If you can just make the text a little shorter on the location key, just call it the Bahrain naval base, and you can see in this video, Abhishek, that it's been hit.
Yeah.
Several targets have been hit. It's an attack on the U.S. naval base in Bahrain.
Yes, and headquarters of the U.S. Naval 5th Fleet in Bahrain, even if, it's been a missile hitting here and there, not exactly an American asset. The Iranians say that all American assets in the larger Middle East are legitimate target for them. And as I mentioned, the United States maintains almost a dozen odd bases across the geography, almost in each of the Gulf nations, from Qatar to Bahrain to Oman to UAE to Saudi Arabia, of course, and Iraq and Syria. Everywhere there is at least one, possibly two US bases, and these are joint bases, like it happens with the American Military Theater Command System, and so they have naval bases, they have air bases, they have military presence, like in the Al Udeid air base, Al Dhafra air base, and in the case of Bahrain, of course, the 5th Fleet headquarters. We are yet to hear from the Department of War, Niranjan. I am closely tracking if they have something to say on these Iranian claims that they have hit a U.S. naval base, and this seems to be getting confirmed from multiple sources that yes, indeed, Bahrain has been hit, but exactly whether this is an American naval asset that's been hit or just some physical infrastructure damaged of the port, that's something which needs to be seen. But essentially the war is intensifying. We are seeing already in the first couple of hours multiple strikes and counter strikes happening. Have you seen, Ranjan, the Americans really striking again after the first flush of Tomahawks?
Well, Abhishek, let me tell you that it was a little after 1 p.m. that we got the update that the American jets had taken off from the aircraft carrier. So, yes, I think we will. Let's not forget, internet is off in Iran. Internet is down, phone lines are down. So you're getting pictures from Bahrain because internet is working in Bahrain. You're getting pictures from Qatar. You're getting pictures from Israel because the internet is working there. I think as journalists, we will know that it is only if there is internet you will get any visuals. But there are no visuals coming in from Iran because the internet is down. The regime has downed the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Iran is trying to strike. The carrier strike Group 3, USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier can carry upwards of 70 jets. Fighter jets. And USS Spruance, it's a destroyer. US naval presence in the Middle East. USS Michael Murphy, it's a destroyer. All part of the USS Strike Group 3. USS Frank Peterson Jr., it's a destroyer, is presently in the Middle East. USS Strike Group 12, USS Gerald Ford, it's an aircraft, the world's largest aircraft carrier. USS Strike Group 12, USS Winston Churchill, destroyer, also in the Middle East. Let's show you all the names. USS Mahan, destroyer, also in the Middle East. USS Bainbridge, destroyer, also in the Middle East. USNS Supply Support Ship, also in the Middle East. Now, if all of these vessels are there, Mr. Dubey, we are not seeing any pictures from Iran yet, but we know that perhaps, Mr. Dubey, it's because the internet is down. We're not going to get any pictures anytime soon, but we're going to wait for that. But your analysis so far of all the pictures you're seeing, the war has spread. Bahrain hit, Qatar hit.
It's a full-scale war. We should not wait for military boots to declare this conflict as a full-blown war. It's already started, and once air strikes resume, then there is nothing left out. Now the retaliation of Iran, as expected, it's being done against Israeli targets, and just it is reported that they are trying to engage one base of United States in the ocean. So they already started engaging doable targets as per their capacity, and they are doing that. And one thing is very important, which is already discussed, that even a small damage will be considered internationally a very significant damage to the US and this Israeli coalition. But one question is very clear, that the way there is a combination of Israel and America for this strike against Iran, I am not seeing any partner right now to come with Iran to support, because there may be a military tie, there may be an economic tie. But as far as fighting along with the friend, fighting along with the ally, as open as it is being done by Israel, I am not finding any.
Sir, there is a big breaking news update, sir. Let me tell you that right now, as we speak, it is spread, it is blown up across the Middle East. UAE airspace shut after US strike. There are interceptions above UAE. In Abu Dhabi, sir. In Abu Dhabi, we have a picture coming in. It is a full-blown war. There are pictures coming in right now. I want to go across to the pictures. This is missile interception over the UAE's capital of Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi has intercepted missiles. And let me also tell you that there are multiple pictures that show that not one or two, but a barrage of missiles were headed towards Abu Dhabi. The missile impact has also been reported. By the way, missile impacts reported in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So, in Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia, we have a full-blown war in the Middle East, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to get you as many details as soon as possible. Let me go across straight to the pictures. Those are pictures from Abu Dhabi. The two specks that you see there, the two specks in the sky are interceptions. So what we will do right now, ladies and gentlemen, those are pictures from Abu Dhabi. We're going to label them. UAE has temporarily closed its airspace. UAE airspace is now shut. Israeli Air Force has said that the air defense area has detected intercepted threats, and they're asking people to just stay indoors. We have a statement also from Bahrain, and those are pictures from Abu Dhabi. Pictures from Abu Dhabi of the missile interceptions by the UAE in its airspace. And that's
Bahrain is, by the way, confirming.
Bahrain is
confirming that the US 5th Fleet Navy headquarters have been hit. Now, whether there has been some damage, there has been just some physical infrastructure damage, or there has been some military infrastructure damage, that's something that remains to be seen. But first confirmation coming in of an American target being hit, Niranjan.
This is huge, Abhishek. In fact, what we will do right now, pictures from Abu Dhabi, pictures from Bahrain, because from the Middle East right now, there are pictures coming in only from two locations, Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. Let's go straight up. Two windows, Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. The video that came in from Bahrain of the US naval base hit, the US 5th Fleet has been hit in Bahrain, and you're getting this picture from Abu Dhabi where there have been aerial interceptions of missiles. UAE has intercepted missiles of Iran. Iran has tried to bomb Abu Dhabi. Iran has tried to bomb Bahrain. Iran has tried to bomb Qatar. And interesting that even Saudi Arabia, Riyadh has been hit, we are told. Abhishek, now this is big.
Well,
if Riyadh has been
Abu Dhabi, explosions being heard from Abu Dhabi.
Let's get the video on the left.
Abu Dhabi and Riyadh, and which means everywhere, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, and every nation, it seems, has been targeted. Niranjan, of course, not these nations, but American military interests in these nations are ultimately the target so far as Iranians are concerned. There might be some collateral damage, we don't know. We are yet to hear about that. But what is important is that the Iranians have really widened the conflict, broadened the conflict, and they are going to make sure that whatever they have or they are left with, they hit back. Mr. Dubey, you think Iranians are this time in a very difficult war because the Americans are more prepared, they have bigger war machine in the Gulf, they have prepared longer this time, they have Syria on their side unlike last time. Everything is going good and in a very organized manner for the American-Israeli alliance.
It's true that Iran is in a very difficult situation this time because preparedness is more. And there has been a very long spell of building up the military offensive in the general area. And one plus point to USA is that they have got a very strong military bases all around these countries. And all these countries are basically standing even in silence but in support of America. There is no doubt about it. So for Iran, the situation this time is a little difficult and preparedness is on a very high pedestal. Now, the second thing is from the Iran perspective, that Iran is also not caught off guard. Iran was also knowing about the consequences and the building of military offensive on their soil. So, Iran is also a little better prepared this time.
Would the regime survive? Would the regime survive?
I think this time USA is not going to allow the regime to survive. That is my thought process. Because this is the second time, and this time they are not going to take a chance. Because what they will tell to the world, you tell. And in the first chance, there was a nuclear enrichment, there was a threat that probably Iran is going to prepare atomic bomb, which might be used against Israel or USA. But what this time they will tell? They are, and if you see the bhashan of Donald Trump, he is connecting to the public of Iran.
Yeah.
That's for sake of your security, your safety. You have done enough with this regime. So he is indirectly encouraging them to come in the support of America's action, because it is Americans who are their saviors. They will take better care of the Iranian public. So they are indirectly threatening the Revolutionary Guard force also. So America is they have started doing their psychological warfare inside Iran, and their larger strategy is basically to throw the Khomeini regime. That is my thought process. Because in second chance, they are not going to leave it. That's why this is a major offensive on the soil of Iran.
Yeah, absolutely. And more pictures coming in from the war zone, multiple pictures from multiple sources, both the sides, Iranians and the Israelis and the Qataris, and all claims and counterclaims, Niranjan, strikes and counter-strikes. The fog of war already there. We don't know as yet from any side if there have been casualties. All sides denying for now.
There are explosions in Kuwait. I'm getting in some breaking
Kuwait also, all right. Kuwait, Oman.
Getting in details of Kuwait
UAE,
as well.
Saudi Arabia, everywhere. Iraq, the airspace is shut everywhere because the missiles and drones are flying thick and fast, literally thick and fast. And these pictures, I believe these are of Bahrain, where the Iranians claim that they have hit a naval target, naval base that's of course the headquarters of the US Fifth Fleet, and whether a military target has been hit or just the physical infrastructure of the port is something for which we are awaiting confirmation. Department of War completely silenced after having announced the operation, which is called Epic Fury.
Yes. We'll maybe take a break, Abhishek. What we will do when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling non-stop live. We've dropped everything today to be on the war. This is huge. It impacts millions of Indians, by the way, Abhishek and Mr. Dubey. Millions of Indians, millions and millions of Indians around this region. We have millions of them in Kuwait, millions of them in UAE, millions of them across the Middle East. And this is going to impact all of you. This is one of the biggest stories in the world right now, the biggest story in the world. And we are live. We will get you live from Dubai, live from Abu Dhabi, live from Bahrain in just a few minutes. Stay tuned, taking a short break. We'll be back in just a few seconds.